Hello, you gorgeous woman, and very warm welcome to Module 1 Masterclass. I've got so much to share about feminine embodiment. I've got notebook full of notes, and I cannot wait to start bringing you into this rabbit hole of feminine embodiment. This masterclass is very, very important. It's foundation for the rest of your journey in this course. So grab your journal, pen, glass of water, and let's get started. So today we're gonna dive into this feminine embodiment world. And first we need to understand that everything in nature got either feminine or masculine qualities. And they are very beautifully expressed. Animals, trees, flowers, sun, moon. Now, including as humans, we are part of nature, right? And the same happening in our bodies, in our psyche. We are either more feminine or more masculine. And it has nothing to do with gender itself. Women can be very masculine and men can be very feminine. In nature, it's really celebrated, this differences in different ways how animals or flora can express themselves. In human world, it's a little bit different. So feminine, what is masculine energy? Masculine energy is all about logical thinking, determination, willingness, discipline, action, being in the mind, being in the head, productivity, linear thinking, always climbing the ladder, right? There's no cyclical nature. It's a little bit more rigid, stagnant energy. It's a young energy, and this energy is the most connected with the sun. Always there. It got 24-hour cycle. It comes up, it goes down, right? It's very intense. It's very active, right? Now, the feminine energy is all about intuition, creativity, chaos. It's all about flow, body, feelings, love, intuition, alchemy, communication, community, collaboration. It's about being rather doing. It's very yin energy. Feminine energy is much more connected to the moon than to the sun. Moon got not 24-hour cycle like men, energy rises up in the morning and goes down in the afternoon. Moon got 28-day cycle. So we women, we have the cyclical nature when our energy rises up and goes down, just as the moon becomes full and bright and then goes towards the new moon and becomes more introverted. Yeah. So feminine energy is very yin energy. It's very cyclical. It's ever changing. Is very vast and wild and uncontrollable and very fertile. Okay, now women, as we mentioned, they can be very feminine or very masculine, or they can have the secret dance in between two energies and live the life connected with one or another energy, depending where they are in their cycle, where they are in their in their life, if they're on holiday or not, if they with partner or without. So let's forget this idea that we are either this or either that. We can also find ourselves somewhere in between, and this is also always changing. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example, one of my favorite examples to explain the feminine and masculine energy. I like to give this example of the tree. So the tree trunk and roots is masculine energy. It's not changing so much if the tree is not in the early growing stage. It's just here. It's still. It's stagnant. It's very important. It creates like a shape for the rest of the tree. It gives nourishment, right? It's so important, but it's very stagnant. It's not much life happening there compared to branches. Now, branches is very feminine energy. They moving, yeah. There's not so much stagnation. They always in the flow. And if you look to the leaves or to the flowers on the tree branches, they also always changing depending what kind of season is here, right? So this is the feminine energy, always changing, cycling, evolving, giving nourishment for the life. The bees coming here to the flowers, the insects eating the leaves, right? There's so much life happening. So you see the difference between the feminine and masculine energy. Another example of feminine and masculine energy in nature could be a river. So the water in the river is the feminine energy. It's always flowing, always evolving, always taking different turns, recreating, giving nourishment for the fishes, for the insects, for the flowers around, and all the beautiful fruits and herbs and vegetables close to the soil. It nurtures the soil close to the river, right? Now, river bank, it's a masculine energy. It holds river. It gives this direction for the feminine waters where they need to flow. Without the river bank, without this masculine container, river would just go outside and anywhere, everywhere, and it would create maybe a disaster in the village, right? So we do need masculine container, which is the glass, to hold our feminine energy, our feminine waters. Now, this masculine container in real life, this masculine energy in real life, it don't have to be men close to us. It can be our connection with the inner beloved, with the masculine archetypes within us. It could be having a discipline, a structure, or I like to call it devotional practices on daily basis, because this is what's gonna keep our feminine energy, direct the feminine energy so it can reach our highest potential. Otherwise, we can be very floaty and fairy and yeah, we just cannot find a way how to use our feminine juices and empower us in the best way possible. So this is the main difference between the feminine and masculine energy. I hope it's a little bit easier for you to understand now, the energetics behind these two energies. Now, masculine realm is mind, is everything what is above the shoulders. Mind, thinking, logical thinking, being here, organizing, structuring, analyzing, contemplating. It's all the masculine realm. Now, everything what's happening below our shoulders is a feminine realm. So below our shoulders, our heart, our belly, our womb, our uterus, our ovaries, our hips, our buttocks, our feet is a very, very feminine realm. So this is where the body is the feminine energy, the feminine realm, and the mind is the masculine realm. So in order to activate the feminine energy, we need to spend more time in our feeling body instead of analyzing, thinking mind. We also building up the strong connection to the feminine energy by activating feminine superpowers, feminine qualities, such as connection, flow, intuition, sisterhood, collaboration, rest, nourishment, undoing, all these beautiful, beautiful qualities. And we're gonna learn in a moment how to work with these qualities, how to activate these feminine super qualities. But I guess the most important question here is why we need this feminine energy, why we need to work with feminine superpowers, with feminine archetypes, with feminine rituals and ceremonies, why it's so needed. If you're going back to this example of the river, you will understand that without the water in the river, the life not gonna happen. If river banks gonna be dry, they're gonna be cracks, they're gonna be very little life happening, flowers not gonna bloom there, leaves not gonna be there, grass not gonna be there. if the water is not flowing, first of all, yeah, it's going to be stagnation. It's going to be, the water starts to create stinky smell. Some funky things will start to happening there, some not so pleasurable things. There will be mold maybe. So something not nice process is going to start there, right? So we need to consciously and continuously nurturing and activating our inner feminine waters in order for us to thrive, as a woman. So we need to continuously working with our emotions. So we need to avoid stagnation with our emotions. So we need to feel our emotions on a daily basis. We need to also cultivate our sexual energy, because if we're not working, if we're not training this muscle, if you're not bringing attention to our sexual energy, stagnation going to happen, and also very not enjoyable process going to happen in our lower chakras, and we're going to lose vitality, we're going to lose our juice, our magnetism, our life force. So this is the main reason why it's so important to cultivate feminine energy, so we can feel juicy, alive, and really an empowered being. Now, if we're not gonna do that, we're gonna stay more in a masculine energy. Now, when we stay more in masculine energy, in the upper computer, in our mind, in our doing, logical thinking, reaching for the next high, the next accomplishment, next certificate, we're going to burn out. Yeah, the big amount of masculine energy in a feminine and in a masculine body gonna bring us to burnout, exhaustion, gonna make us numb in our body, in our heart, in our sexual center. So many women that I work with that come to me, they say that they feel numbness, not only in their yoni, in their vaginal canal, but also in their heart. They say that I'm wearing the most beautiful clothes or going on the most beautiful holiday in Maldives, and it's like, yeah, it's cool first day, and then it's like, like nothing brings them pleasure anymore, nothing brings them excitement anymore, and it needs to be more and more expensive things so they can feel some source of pleasure there, okay? So the reason why it's happening, because we're forgetting the cultivation and activation of feminine energy on daily basis. So this is the reason why we need to work on our feminine energy. So here is really an invitation for us to learn how to rest, how to receive, how to soften, how to open ourselves for collaboration, for health, for co-creations, how to simply allow ourselves to just be the way we are, with our perfect imperfections, with our messy archetypes, with our cyclical nature and ever-changing hormones. This is what's going to bring you closer and closer to feminine energy. In today's world, we need to admit the fact that masculine energy is much more celebrated than feminine energy. Accomplishments, certifications, achievements, it's much more celebrated than intuition, collaboration, creativity, fertility, motherhood. I see so much judgment for mothers, women who choose to be at home moms, create a beautiful house interior for the family, cook nourishing foods and be with the kids, and they are really judged in today's society compared to those who's always creating, always birthing new projects. They're doing events, workshops, master classes. There's so much more respect for this kind of women, like business women, right? And this really needs to change, because we reach the point when there is really it's impossible to go any further away from the celebration of the feminine energy. Now is the time to really go back to the feminine superpowers and bring these superpowers not only to our relationships and motherhood, but also to our business. This is where the feminine leadership comes in. Now is the time to do business in a feminine way. All right. Now, we have a very important question here, and this is where I'm gonna really ask you to grab your journals and start to ask yourself a couple of questions. Um, um, okay, questions will come in a moment, but yeah, first we need to understand why we are disconnected. What is the sign? Sorry, what is the sign that we are disconnected from feminine energy? What is the signs? Because at this point you might feel I'm really not sure, either I'm feminine or masculine or in between. Now I'm really confused, Aista, so help me to figure out who I am, which energy is more active. So these signs can help you to better understand where you are. So couple of signs that you are disconnected from feminine energy: always busy, always doing, always rushing, feeling guilty if you slow down and relax. You feel worthless if you're not achieving, if you're not accomplishing. You feel more comfortable giving than receiving. It's really difficult for you to receive compliments, receive help, receive support. You are overly independent, acting like you don't need anyone's help, that you're just perfect, ice queen, perfect the way you are. You feel disconnected and numb from your emotions. You really struggle to go out from your mind into your body. You focus more on outcome than enjoying the journey, the process. It's really difficult to find pleasure along the way, like creating the retreat, the masterclass, or whatever job you're doing. It's all about the final destination. Difficult releasing control. You're control freak. Really everything needs to be the way you plan to be, and if it's not flowing that way, you get really irritated and anxious, angry, upset, depressive, violent maybe even. Perfectionism is your second name. You struggle to show vulnerability. You struggle to cry. You struggle to cry in front of other people. You struggle when other people shows their emotions. You feel like, oh my God, I don't know what I need to do now. You're really not comfortable witnessing other people's emotions. Your body is more like a tree trunk, very rigid and very stiff, instead of very soft and flow. You might feel lots of tension in your shoulders, in your vaginal canal, in your jaw. So this is the sign of very active masculine energy in your body. Shallow breathing, it's also quality of the masculine energy. Logical, practical thinking instead of using intuition and following your heart. Productivity, you are prioritizing productivity and work over relationship with your beloved or yourself. Disconnection from pleasure. You're seeing that pleasure is a waste of time. It's really not as important as doing the important things in life. So really I'm inviting you to reflect on these 20 qualities that showcases that your masculine energy is taking over, and see if they are, most of these qualities, they are quite active, or maybe only few of them. So in this way you can better understand what is the percentage of the masculine energy in your psyche at this very moment of your existence. Okay, we're moving forward. The first step of reclaiming your feminine energy is understanding what's causing the disconnection. Without understanding what's causing the disconnection, it's so difficult to start embodying the feminine energy through movement, through ritual, through ceremony. So most of the time, what's causing the biggest disconnection is events that happened in the past when you were a child. So first of all, the first thing that could cause this connection is the events when your feminine energy wasn't welcomed when you were a child, when your creativity wasn't celebrated and welcomed, your tears, your emotions, your empathic nature, your visualization, your playfulness, your messiness. You have to be clean, don't cry. again, you are in your dreamy visualization world. Come back to earth. Be clean, like be well dressed, well behaved. Don't be so loud. All this is blocking our feminine energy, and we're starting to believe that this is bad. And this is how we're jumping into the masculine energetics. So this is a very, very big piece in feminine energy destruction. The second reason why you might feel disconnected from your feminine energy is because the feminine energy wasn't modeled in a healthy way in your family. Maybe your mother was masculine, always doing, always working, carrying heavy bags, not allowing herself to rest, to nurture herself, to receive spa, massages, relax, yeah? And maybe your dad was very feminine, letting himself cry, hugging, listening to you, very, holding space very well for you. And then you got confused. What is feminine and what is masculine? So this could be the reason why. If you received a very negative messaging about the feminine energy in general, this might cause disconnection. You might be told that dressing feminine clothes, like wearing dresses or putting makeup or jewelry, if you will do that, you will look like a very easy woman and people can take advantage of you. So showcasing that you are too feminine is not, it's dangerous. Maybe you've been told over and over again that being overly emotional, it's a very bad quality of the feminine, and you are too feminine, and like it's not bad, it's bad. So judging the feminine energy can cause you disconnection from the feminine energy in today's world. Maybe you end up being alone with your feelings and with your emotions. Nobody really were able to hold space for you. Maybe they were very cold, maybe they never been taught how to hold space. Maybe they felt very uncomfortable holding space for your feelings and for your emotions. So you never actually had space to express your feelings, your emotions, and you shut them. And now you're struggling to express them because you never could express them, so it's very hard for you to know how to do that. Okay, you might have fear around it. You might feel that feminine energy is for someone else. It's not for you. You might be hurt in your teenager years, in your first years of sexual exploration, because of your femininity, because of your feminine energy, your innocence. Maybe someone took advantage of your body, of your psyche, of your vulnerability, your maiden archetype, and now you feel that if you will be feminine again, if you will reconnect with your sexuality, with your innocence, with your playfulness, someone can take advantage of you once again. So unconsciously you're shutting this energy so you can be safe. This can be a very, very big reason why you feel disconnected from feminine energy. You might feel that feminine energy feels uncomfortable to be in. It feels uncomfortable to wear dresses. It feels uncomfortable to even see women in more red or pink color and makeup and jewelry. It's just uncomfortable for you. It's triggering. That's why you feel much more comfortable wearing jeans and baggy t-shirts and wearing no makeup, and because this is much more comfortable for you. So being uncomfortable in all this feminine adoration stuff or witnessing other women can push you to remaining in the place that your ego feels more comfortable, which is masculine energy. Okay, so this could be the main reasons, the main reasons behind this blockage of the feminine energy expression. Okay, now I want you to ask a couple of questions. What is your current relationship with your feminine energy? So write down, or maybe you want to pause this video after each question, but I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I really want you to journal the answers to these questions when you get chance, or maybe during this masterclass. What is your current relationship with your feminine energy? How in tune you are with your cyclical nature, with your menstrual cycle, or if you're not bleeding anymore, with the moon phases. How deeply you listen to your intuition. How connected you feel to your yoni, your pleasure, your sensuality, your sexuality. How open, soft, and receptive you feel. How easy can you receive? How connected you are with your heart. Do you listen her? Do you allow her to express, share her messages with you? What is your relationship with rest, slowing down, not doing? How connected you are with your creativity. Are you birthing new projects, ideas into the world? Or you struggle to release your creative potential? Do you allow the full range of feminine qualities to be expressed? Because feminine is not only one color. She's a multidimensional being. She's wild, she's erotic, she's innocent, she's primal, she's sacred. So do you allow all qualities of feminine to be expressed through your emotions? So I'm really inviting you to sit with these questions for a moment or two and really contemplating on them. Yeah, so really contemplate on how is your relationship with your feminine, inner feminine. Do you allow her to be out in the world? Do you feel her like she's sacred, or you feel that she's just non-productive and not really important, and she's just consuming your time? Do you give what she asks, or you listen more the masculine, the mind? Do you taking time to nurture her, to activate her, to feed her with practices, with rituals, with ceremonies, with your devotion, self-devotion? All right. So how we start working now on this feminine energy activation. So now when we have this better understanding how the feminine energy was expressed in our early age, how our mothers expressed the feminine energy, how our parents or grandparents, or the closest people to us when we are growing up, welcomed our feminine energy. This is the first step. We have the clear picture what happened and what is the reason that the feminine energy is not so beautifully expressed. Now we can slowly start the healing journey. And before I start the healing journey, I really want you to really become crystal clear about how the feminine energy in general was welcomed in your family. And I'm saying feminine energy is not only your qualities like intuition and creativity and vulnerability, but womanhood in general, how women's rites of passage were welcomed. The first menstruation was this celebration in your family, or something that everybody felt so embarrassed and nobody wanted to talk about, and maybe it's even being ignored, or maybe even seen as a curse and something really dirty and disgusting that happened to you. The first sexual relationship, when your parents started to feel that you hanging out with the boys, how they welcome that. Were they telling that it's dangerous and the sex going to destroy your life? Or were they really happy and they really wanted to meet your boyfriend and they were excited about that, you know? How your mother welcomed even her menopause if it's already happened, yeah? So this all teaches us a lot about the foundation of the feminine energy, how the womanhood, how being woman, the pregnancy, the birth, sex, menstruation was welcomed in the family. So I want to share my story really briefly, because I think that it really showcases very well this feminine energy movement and blooming. My mother got pregnant when she was 18 years old, and back in the days in Lithuania it was very common, it was really fashionable and celebrated to be a young mother. But even though it was so celebrated, I can only imagine how difficult for my mother was to be mature enough to hold space for my femininity, for my vulnerability, for my emotions. I got pregnant when I was 33, and still with all of this books and learning and all the tools, I still struggled so much to be the best mom I can possibly be. So I can only imagine how difficult it was for my mom. So what happened is that my father, he went to study to other city, and my mom was raising me alone. Later they needed to work, they needed to have money. I wasn't born in a very wealthy family, so I was growing up with my grandmother, and she was a very masculine, tough woman. She's amazing, she's a sweetheart, but she was really, tough woman. So I really haven't seen much feminine energy happening there in my household. And my mom, yeah, she was working very hard. She would come back tired, she would come back stressed. Of course, she wouldn't be nourished, she wouldn't be held by my father, because my father was studying, living his best life. He was only 19, alcohol, girls, you name it. He was just living his best life. And while my mother was taking care of me and working very hard, so I really wouldn't see feminine energy in full bloom. I would see my dad like an amazing expression of the human potential, always happy, always high vibes. And later, after university, he worked much more, and because of his education, he could make more money. So I would see him happy and joyful and nourished, and also he's bringing money, he's wealthy, and my mom always complaining, always counting, always always staying in her like a victim, a little bit like energetics. And my dad was my best friend, and I had resistance towards my mom because I didn't want to be like her, very emotional and crying and shouting and not having enough money and working so hard. And so later I became very independent from very young age, because I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to party hard, I wanted to have lots of partners, I wanted to explore my sexuality, I wanted to have lots of money, my own money. I didn't want to depend on anyone like my mother did. I didn't want to be pregnant at all for a very, very long time. Actually, the desire to be a mother only arose when I was in my 30s. So I just wanted to live this hedonistic, freedom, pleasure-based life. And I had lots of resistance towards the energy, feminine energy that was showcased in my mother, in my family, until I found mentors who taught me how I can be in my feminine energy, in my pleasure, and at the same time make my own money, make my own choices, be in control with my emotions, know how to express them in a safe space without throwing them to anyone else, and how I can hold space for other people's emotions, including my own, of course. So I needed to find different mentors who could showcase me the strong, beautiful, and empowered feminine energy. Because in my family this energy wasn't welcomed, wasn't showcased in a beautiful way. So if you feel like, you can also pause here and journal a little bit about how was it in your family? How was your mother showcasing feminine energy? About your dad, and how you see the feminine energy there, because lots of pearls of wisdom can be found when you're going back in time and analyzing the situation. Yeah. Now, the first archetype that we're going to start working in the She Moves course is going to be Mother archetype, because everything starts with Mother, the feminine energy starts with Mother, because the way our mothers expressed feminine energy not going to only impact our feminine energy, but it's also going to impact our relationship with other women. That's deep. That's so deep. So we really want to see here how we seen her feminine energy, how we seen her expression of feminine energy, because this might be the main reason why we feel resistance towards the other women, why we feel the sister wound, why we feel that we cannot trust other women, why we feel that we need to always impress and improve other women, why we feel that we are in competition of other women, why we feel that we are not enough when we in front of other women, why we feel small, why we shrink when we are having conversation with women who got bigger empire than us, who makes more money than us. Yeah. So this is where the healing of the feminine energy starts, when we start working with the feminine archetype. And the inner child healing is the work of the mother's archetype. So how the inner child healing can start for you at this stage of the course, to work with inner child, yeah, there's so many practices that you can do, but I like to keep things simple and practical. So I want you to remember when you was growing up, how your mother kept you small. What kind of love you longed from your mother? What kind of love language you longed to receive from your mom? Was it physical touch? Was it holding space for your emotions? Was it allowing you to express your dreams, your desires, your goals, your ideas? Was it gifts? Maybe you never received those beautiful toys and dresses from your mom. Was it simply time and presence? So really dive into this question. What is the love language that you long to receive from your mother? This is where very deep inner child healing is going to happen. Because the invitation here is to re-mother yourself by giving to you right now what you long to receive back then. So in my case, what I was really longing from my mom is the physical touch, the hugs, the kisses, the cuddles, the playfulness, just to be able to run with her and to fight playfully, just do fun things, like a little bit more wild nature and playfulness get dirty and muddy and dance and sing. I really, really longed because she was like a very serious mother, not so playful. Of course, because her playfulness was taken when she became mother at 19 years old. So, and I also very much long from her holding space for me to express with words, yeah, how I feel, what I dream about, what is in my mind. There was never a place when the space would be held. I would be always seen as, she's the mother, her voice matters, and I'm a daughter, I'm smaller, I am, it's not that my voice matters that much. And the reason how this story moved into a relationship with other women, I started holding women's circles because I wanted to be mother for other women, to allow their voices to be expressed. They would share their stories, answers to the questions that I ask. I just wanted to offer this precious space where they can be listened, where they can be heard. And actually, when we starting facilitating circles, what I train in my Women's Circle training program, we really embodying this mother archetype, and we allowing other women to be our children and express their deepest worries and desires. And this is where very deep feminine healing happening, and sister wound healing happening, right? And embodiment of the feminine energy is happening. But when I started doing that, I still struggle to express myself. I was very good holding space for other women, but when it was my time to share, very often I would pass the stick and I would just say, okay, I'm holding space for you, it's not about me, it's about you. And when it was the time even to give advice, I was really resisting being a coach. I had lots of resistance to this title, because I thought that I am here to hold space, I'm not here to coach, I'm not here to train, I'm just holding space. And I understood that this is a very big part of my inner feminine healing, is to step into this empowered place of not only hold space as a mother, but also step into the wise woman archetype, into the queen archetype, and find courage to express the wisdom that I gathered through 10 years of my experience in the feminine energy healing. It was very vulnerable for me, but at the same time very empowering, because I've never felt safe or welcome to express my opinions, to teach anyone anything, So yeah, it was a big part of my healing journey. So I really want you to dive into this question too, and see what is the love language that you long to receive, because this could be giving yourself this love language right now in a form of presence, attention, presence. It's two different love language. It can bring you to a very, very fast empowerment. If you're giving this what you long to receive from your mom. Okay, we're moving forward. So when we now starting this feminine energy healing, we know what is the story, what was the setup, the situation, and what is the love language that we need to give ourselves in order to heal, remother our inner child. So this unpacking started to happen. The next step is the healing work. So we're doing the work now. We're doing the inner child healing, the remothering, the archetypal healing. The healing is happening. And the third step is the ritual part, the ceremony part, when we're really starting to create the relationship with our archetypes through ritual, through devotion, through our morning practice or evening practice. So this is the third step in your healing journey. And the fourth step is holding yourself through any fear that arises during the healing journey. So when I started working with lover archetype, because my sexuality was really blocked, I felt lots of fear, lots of resistance for such a long time working with this energy. So I had to really find compassion and this deep nurturing mother energy to hold myself through fear, through resistance, through this feeling that it's too much, it's not important, the sexual energy, come on, there's more important things that I can do in the world than just enjoying pleasure and sexuality. I needed to find really empowerment in that and hold myself through this procrastination, you know. And the last piece, the last step in this feminine energy activation is start activating and awakening the archetypes that you have more resistance to, the archetypes that you long to have in your psyche, but you have some resistance. So again, maybe in your cases, like in mine, is more sexual archetypes, more dark feminine archetypes like lover or wild woman, or maybe you full on into these archetypes and you long more connection to the light feminine archetypes, more like connection to the divine, devotion, ceremony, sacredness. So really start working with archetypes that you have big desire to call in your life. Activate these archetypes. Okay, so in this course we're going to explore all 7 feminine archetypes, and then after the course I would invite you to focus more on the archetypes that you really feel, not the ones that you feel super comfortable with, but the ones that still triggering you, is the ones that you feel disconnected, but you have this desire to call them into your life. Okay, so here I have a couple of questions for you to ask yourself, so you can grab your journal and ask these questions. What particular qualities of the feminine you would like to embody more? Bring these qualities in your intentions, in your mantras, in your devotional practice. So what qualities? Erotic, innocence, creativity, vulnerability, expression of your emotions, your messiness, collaboration, opening yourself for help, for support. What parts of the feminine needs to be nurtured more? What parts of your feminine needs to be nurtured more? Is it the flow? Maybe you need more movement to happen. Is it the cultivation of sexual energy? Maybe it's your creative energy expression. Maybe it is trusting other women. Maybe you need to go to women's circles more. Or maybe it's your intuitive nature, intuitive movement, intuitive singing. Maybe everything you know in your life is very disciplined and structured and rigid. Maybe there is need more flow and chaos to happen. Maybe it's more psychic abilities, dream analysis, oracle card, tarot readings. And I want to ask you one more question. What practices, rituals, or ceremonies helps you to feel more feminine? What practices, rituals, ceremonies, and even locations, places helps you to feel more feminine? Is it the dance, the movement, the singing, or locations when you going for a hike, or swimming in the ocean naked, or sunbathing with your womb on the sand, or walking barefoot on the earth, or drinking cacao, blue lotus, making love, receiving massages? What practices makes you feel more feminine? Try to bring as much of these practices in your everyday life as possible. So really journal and contemplate on these questions right now. And to finalize today's masterclass, I want to remind you that feminine is not one color. Feminine is not one archetype. Very often I see if you're doing research on archetypes, I see that what is your feminine archetype quiz, it's not like this. We got so many different archetypes in our psyche. Some of them more active, some of them more suppressed, but it's not that we have one color of the feminine, that you have one archetype. It's not the case, really. It's not the case in feminine mysteries tradition, and I know it's not the case. So I want you to understand that some women, we are more towards the light feminine. I used to be for a long time very much into my light feminine colors, into the light feminine energetics. It's like more moon qualities, innocence and spirituality, devotion, ceremony, ritual, softness, care, nurturing abilities, like very light feminine colors. And for the past 3-4 years, I would say, after giving birth, I'm moving more into my dark feminine expression. I feel more and more comfortable and confident speaking and practicing and cultivating my erotic qualities, my working with my sexual energy, working with my psychic abilities, working with esoteric stuff, going into the sand, going into underworld, analyzing my dreams, doing deep devotional ritual practices, offering my blood, getting dirty, and like really working with deep ritualistic esoteric stuff. I see that in this way the goddess comes into the full light, into the full glory, when I'm bringing these two pieces of the puzzle together. But you'll notice that one expression of the feminine feels more comfortable at a stage of your life than other, and it's totally fine. So we're cultivating the archetypes that's more connected to the qualities that you feel more comfortable expressing. But know that feminine is cyclical, feminine is all about evolution, and it's very possible that soon you will start feeling the pull to these other qualities of the feminine energetics, feminine archetypes. So we are all different, and we all have different expression of different archetypes in our psyche, because some archetypes move forward, some of them more backward, but the invitation is here to start playing with different flavors of the feminine, with different archetypes, with different colors, and you will see that your potential as a woman opening up, slowly opening up, because you just bringing forward the parts of you that you thought is not existent, that's been suppressed since childhood. And we also want to say that we are all different, and we all playing with the feminine embodiment in different ways. Some of us, we really want, and it's very important, to have a very devotional morning practice. For me, it is important to have some kind of movement, some kind of ritual, a dance, a journaling practice, a cacao ceremony, something that nurtures my feminine. But some women, some of my mentors, they don't do any practices in the morning. They just there in this feminine essence 24/7, and they don't need a special movement or a special devotional practices. They are simply there. So we are all different, so there's no better or worse, we are just different. And to finalize here this masterclass, I want you to become very clear what can you do right now to bring more feminine juice into your life. So first invitation here is to start doing more practices, more stuff that brings you more into your body and out of your head. So maybe it is yoga, maybe it is movement, maybe it's going for walks, going for runs, receiving massages, more stuff that brings you into your body and out of your mind. Making love, self-pleasure practices, All these practices is so nurturing for your feminine waters, for this river, for the life force energy, for your magnetism, for your ability to receive abundance in all of its forms, including financial wealth. So we really want to go into the body, out of the head, really dropping into this receiving mode rather than doing, leaning forward, really resting into our throne and be receiving. Step number 2, slowing down. We really want to slow down as often as we can. Slowing down in the way we talk, slowing down when we're eating, slowing down when we're walking, slowing down when we're breathing, slowing down in making love, slowing down in applying face cream on our face, on our body, slowing down in everything and anything we do. It's also nurturing for our feminine. Movement, step number 3, movement. Movement is very important, and the best movement for the feminine is unlinear movement. So if until now your daily movement or weekly movement would be very masculine, like Monday is the leg day, Tuesday is the upper body day. Like, can we invite a little bit more intuitive movement here? Can we ask our body how we want to move today and allow our body to move you instead of moving body through the rational mind? So allowing this intuitive movement to take place, it's very nourishing for the feminine, and this is exactly what we're going to be learning in this course, intuitive movement. And when we do intuitive movement, remember always the 5 gates: sound, breath, movement, touch, and presence. So this is what creates a very somatic intuitive movement, which is so nourishing for your feminine. Okay, the step number 4 is turning into your heart. Over and over again, out of your head into your heart. So waking up, instead of thinking what I need to do today, what I want to do today, what my body longs to do today. So part of my morning practice is really asking my heart, how is she doing, what she's feeling, and what she needs today. So how she's feeling and what she needs. This is 2 questions that I ask. And then this creates the rest of my morning practice, maybe the rest of my day. I still have the badass energy. I know that I need to do my things and I'm going to do them. But after the things are done, I'm tuning into my goddess energy, asking, feeling, and giving my body, my inner goddess, what she dreams about, what she desires that day. Creativity. Creativity is step number 5. So creativity, pottery, go to pottery classes, paint, play with soil, cook nurturing foods, like do something with your hands. Gardening, it's so good to put hands in the soil. Really, wherever creative practice you feel the most connected with, do that. When we do something with our hands, it activates our heart, because from tantric tradition, our hands is the extension of our heart. So when we do stuff with our hands, we're activating our heart. Working on computer, it doesn't count like working with our hands, because there's very little creativity happening in our hands. It's a very stagnant movement. So we need to really create with our hands more to open our heart, our very strong feminine energy center. Then step number 5 is adoring your body. So maybe it sounds really superficial, wearing beautiful clothes and makeup and jewelry, but actually when we start embodying the feminine energetics, this naturally comes in. So maybe it's not gonna be having this full face makeup, but maybe you'll start caring more what kind of face cream you're applying on your face, if it's biological, if it's really nurturing for your face. Applying the body oils, using nice oils connected to your dosha. It's so beautiful. Dosha is Ayurvedic term of the body constitution that you have. Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. It's very beautiful to choose choose oils connected to that, because you can be more airy or more grounded, more cold or hot time. So it's really, really nice to connect to that. Yeah, it just naturally comes in, the adoration jewelry and makeup, and you starting to use the materials that really feels comfortable and cozy to touch, and to hug and to cuddle. So this is also a very big part of Tantra tradition, using silk and wool and linen and cashmere, like very soft fabrics instead of leather and some metal stuff, because yeah, it really invites this like softness and cuddle, and men wants to cuddle us and we feel good and cozy, you know. So, and playing with the colors too, you know, like really we're going back to the past, to the ancient Egypt. Wow, they would spend ages adoring themselves before the ritual, before the ceremony, the you know, eyeliner and jewelry everywhere, because this was the one of the highest expression of the feminine arts. This is what would make us divine. This is what would make us, what would create paradise on earth, right? Playing with these materials and stones and perfume, oils. Wow, it's another realm. So really, when I work with women, very often at the beginning they feel so comfy with the jeans and t-shirts, and then naturally, organically, they're getting more and more drawn to beautiful nails and jewelry and perfume and good quality makeup. Yeah, so this could be also the way how you can embody feminine more. And then feeling your emotions. Feminine is really nothing without emotions. So we're really learning how to remother ourselves, holding space for all of our emotions, not only the ones that we like happiness and joy and ecstasy and pleasure, but also those that feel a little bit more uncomfortable, like anger and sadness and grief, because this is how we can tap into the feminine superpower. This is how we can alchemize uncomfortable emotions into something powerful. For example, if we allowing ourselves to sit with our anger, after the anger there is erotica. So if we're suppressing our anger, it's really hard to feel desire. That's why South Americans, they are so good expressing, like one day they're fighting and smashing the plates, another minute they're already making hot love and screaming out loud from pleasure, because the more you can go into your darkness, the more you can rise into your light. It's always polarity. So learn how to hold space, how to sit with the uncomfortable emotions. Yeah, sit for a song or two, feel that, and then move your body. Let that move, rise this energy. Yeah? We're gonna work with that in this course too. And last but not least is living your connected with the cyclical nature. So really syncing food with the cycle, syncing your business with your cycle, knowing when it's time to create, when it's time to launch, where it's time to retreat and rest and just, you know, meditate and contemplate. So really, instead of being this linear being and always functioning the same way, having this 24-hour cycle like men, I'm waking up and I'm doing, and then I'm going to sleep and resting. We having 28-day cycle. We're connecting with the moon if we're not bleeding, yeah. So again, we're going to talk more about that in this course, how we can become a more cyclical being. And yeah, it's so important. Dance and music. Try to dance as much as you can. Listen music, less TV, more music. Play music. Yeah, when you're working on your computer, play music. Do dance breaks. Like doing your work, doing your taxes. Yes, it is masculine energy, but it's important to have these little feminine breaks so you can bring feminine energy into your masculine work. This is part of feminine leadership that I teach my one-on-one clients. Then pleasure, bring as much pleasure to your life. Slow down when you eat, connect with your senses, with the smell, with the touch, with the sight. having the tea and really, feeling the cup, smelling the aroma of the tea, looking into the cup, what you can see, taste, feel, like really activate your senses on a daily basis. It's so empowering. It opens another portal, another dimension. It brings so much depth and aliveness to your life. Rest, take naps, allow yourself to sleep in, especially when you bleed, or when it's the new moon if you're not bleeding. Allow yourself to sleep at least 1 hour longer when you bleed. And naps, it's so nurturing for the feminine. Siesta is like, wow, so good for your feminine. Love, 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 love. This is the gateway to feminine. What is love language? What is your love language? For yourself, because we may be already aware what is love language that you want to receive from others. But what is love language to yourself? Is it presence? Or is it touch? Is it movement? Yeah, what is listening to your emotions? Yeah, what is the love language to you? Study the love language. It's so beautiful. Morning practice, for me, it's really non-negotiable. At least 10 minutes morning practice. I sit, I ask my heart how she feels, what she needs, and then I create my morning practice connected to my heart's deepest desires. Receiving, allow yourself to receive help, receive hugs, receive compliments. Open the portal of receiving. Lean back into your back body instead of being in the front body, and allow yourself to receive. First of all, allow yourself to receive from yourself, and the more you're going to give to yourself, pleasure and presence, the more you can open up the energetics to receive from the creator, from the universe, from the God, in the form of clients, in the form of money, in the form of abundance, that it's unlimited for us to receive in this world, in this realm. But you need to become intimate with yourself first. You need to allow yourself to receive from your inner beloved, from the inner goddess first. And then you will have enough space and capacity to receive from the God, from the goddess, from the universe, whatever word feels most alignment with you. Yeah. And the last is sacredness. Bring as much sacredness to your life. Sacredness is when we're working with the priestess archetype. Sacredness, 24/7, washing plates. Connect with the sacred waters when you're washing your plates. It's not just a chore that needs to be done fast and so boring. No, this is the sacred water. This is the source of everything. Water holds memory of your ancestors. Allow yourselves to connect with the pleasure of the water, with those bubbles, when you clean in plates. Making love is the most sacred form of meditation, of connection with the God. Your inner beloved, if you're pleasuring yourself or your partner, see God in him. This is how we do in Tantra. You become the goddess and he becomes the God. And they make love through our bodies. It's so powerful, so powerful. Sacredness, your morning cup of cacao. Offer first sip of cacao or coffee to the earth. Applying oils to your body without rushing. See the goddess within you. Again, the makeup, the perfume. Bring as much the sacredness to your body as possible. Slow down. Music. Everything is sacred. Becomes sacred if you slow down and you bring consciousness. Everything becomes sacred. This is my prayer to you. To connect with the goddess within you through these steps that I just expressed, to the sacred feminine within you, so you can unleash the highest potential in your relationship, in your business, and open the channel for infinite abundance that we are here to receive, and highest potential. So I hope you enjoyed this masterclass, and the deeper you can go in, the deeper we're gonna go in this course. Much love.